Mike Papantonio, America's lawyer and host of Ring of Fire Radio, is with us. Loretta Lynch is the new nominee for Attorney General. Are we going to suddenly see the Attorney General's office start prosecuting banksters?
Not likely. Not likely at all. It's amazing to me. You know, Loretta Lynch is someone that conservative Wall Street Republicans should be absolutely in love with. She may be an effective activist where it comes to civil rights issues, but she's nothing more than a retread of Eric Holder where it comes to sending Wall Street white-collar criminals to prison. My bet is that Wall Street will be burning up phone lines to their Republican Politico mouthpieces, telling them to let Loretta Lynch replace Holder so Wall Street can continue the same corruption that we've seen for 6 years now. This is just a retread of Eric Holder. It's just amazing to me. The conservatives haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, it's well, or the Democrats haven't either. I mean, it's. There was another thing. What was it? Danielle pointed this out to me, and I've got to. Oh, here it is. That she also was her first job was a litigation associate at Cahill, Gordon, and Rindell in the 1980s, and they argued in favor of Citizens United.
Yeah.
Apparently, although I can't say that she was involved in that case.
Well, let me tell you a little bit more about her, Tom. You make the decision. Big fines against Wall Street criminals. No Wall Streeters go to prison. That's her brand. Lynch began her career working for this mega firm that represents high-profile securities and antitrust Wall Street offenders. She served as a member of the board of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York that's been willing to both participate and to forgive Wall Street's very, very worst conduct. She was on the board there for a reason. You don't just get on the board unless you have some ideology that's similar to that board. Wall Street Republicans and Democrats are smart to keep their mouth shut about this new version of Eric Holder that Obama is trying to deliver to them. I mean, she's going to make their lives into a cakewalk, but certainly not a perp walk. More than ever right now, Tom, we don't need an AG who has a record of defending consumers, who has a record of defending, criminal bankers or predatory insurance and drug industry, oil industry types gone wild. We don't need people who defend.
Did she do those things
people
personally, Pap, or was it just her law firm?
Well, yes. It's not just her law firm. Part of that. Let me explain the law industry. Okay. You choose to go with the ideology that you're comfortable with. For example, when I came out of law school, I had many offers to go with silk stocking defense corporate lawyers. I chose not to because what I would do with my hands didn't line up with what I felt in my heart and in my mind. So yes, the money's always out there. They always put this big money out in front of you and you say, well, I got to go do that. Well, you don't. This is a lawyer who's made her money defending white-collar criminals. I mean, they stole the same criminals, Tom, who stole $18 trillion from our economy by the last burn down. Even her M.O. when she was with the DOJ was to give her Wall Street pals a get-out-of-jail-free card and make it look like she punished them with big fines that ultimately taxpayers had to pay for. The law firm that you're talking about, who paid her millions to defend, that firm was paid millions to defend the LIBOR thugs who stole from all of us by manufacturing LIBOR rates. Did she do the case? No, she did not. But she's there in the same house where they feel like that's something that we're comfortable doing. They're at the top of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce list as champions for securities and white-collar defense. Her firm really made its name defending ratings agencies that gave criminal quality AAA ratings on mortgages and securities that totally wiped out so many retirement pensions. Tom, the problem is you don't have a history like that. You don't have associations like that where you're the same members of the clubs and the restaurants and you're rubbing elbows with them all the time and then expect her to put any of these people in jail. And that's what has to happen. If we're going to change this economy, if we're going to change what happens on Wall Street, somebody has to be willing to pull the trigger on Wall Street. And this is not the person. And the sad thing to me is Obama knows that. This is just a retread of Eric Holder.
Okay, so what comes to my mind when I hear this, Pep, is that there's an elephant in the room that you and I are not discussing, and that is that had Obama said, "Oh, gee, let's put Ralph Nader in as Attorney General," right, or anybody of that worldview, not only would it not pass by the Republicans, they would absolutely filibuster that, period. But half the Democrats in the Senate would not vote for that. You've got Mary Landrieu now and other Democrats falling all over themselves, taking credit for the fact that we're going to there's a vote today in the Senate for Keystone XL. Mm-hmm. Which will destroy the planet and make the Koch brothers a lot of money, so. I think that we've got a seriously corrupted system. It's so badly corrupted. Obama may or may not, and probably is, deep in his heart a corporatist, or aspires to be when he grows up. He wants to be worth $100 million like Bill Clinton is, 15 years after retiring. May or may not be the case, but the system allows for that. We have a really screwed up. We no longer have a democracy.
Okay, but Tom, you start the discussion by doing something that maybe won't work. Look, if you're a president who really wants to do something, if you're in a position you say, look, we know that it's corrupt, we have to do something, you have to talk. You have to at least talk like Elizabeth Warren. You at least have to get the discussion on the table like Bernie Sanders. You need to move these discussions into the public airways to where we talk about what was Eric Holder? What would this Loretta Lynch be? Why does Wall Street have so much control over every damn thing we do in this country? And you don't do it by simply putting up a name that says, well, she's the best I could do. I am so tired of she's the best or he's the best we can do. Sometimes you have to do something that maybe can't be fully accomplished, but I've got to take action. If you go to the website of Hogan and Hartson Law Firm, this is where Lynch learned to defend white-collar criminals. It's a big bragging point that they're masters of defending white-collar criminals in the area of corporate and securities and tax and employment scams. That's just the beginning. You don't change those spots. Right. Simply by saying, okay, well, she's an AG now. If she has to evaluate something, she's going to evaluate in favor of these very same people that she knows all her life, that she's made all of her money with, and the consumer be damned. I promise you that's what we'll get with this.
I agree, and I believe you. What I'm saying is that this is systemic now in the United States. In every state, at every level of government, if you're a billionaire and you commit a crime, you're gonna skip. If you're making $15,000 a year working 2 jobs at McDonald's and Burger King and you commit a crime, even a small crime, you're going to go to prison. And go ahead.
It makes democracy unsustainable, Tom.
I agree, and that's my point. I see this as a crisis, as a symptom of a crisis of democracy that we are experiencing right now in this republic.
Well, and my only response to that is, yes, the discussion has to take place. And yes, Ralph Nader would be outrageous, but at least it begins the discussion of what's wrong. That's what Bernie Sanders accomplishes. That's what Elizabeth Warren accomplishes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You've got to have that. You have to have that discussion.
I'm with you, and we had all hoped that a president on Hope and Change would talk about, and he's talked about a few things, but stuff like this, no. Mike Papantonio, ringofireradio.com. Thanks, Pap.
Thank you, Tom.